Hello, tribe. How's it going? First of all, Happy New Year. And I hope that you guys have a very abundant and full of health 2021. And yes, I'm recording this video in the New Year's Eve. So, without further ado, let's get started. And like we said, this is the first video of the series all about. And in here, we're going to start to talk about the first animal in the list that is consume. So, what the hell is consume? Well, it seems pretty simple. Apparently, in OP terms, consume is the combination of an extroverted observer with an introverted decider. So basically, that would mean to gather information for the self. It's the animal that helps you taking new information for the self so you are able to make use of that information later. But here is where it gets tricky. There are many people who are double extroverted, for example, that have consume as one of their main saviors. So this means that you can also give the appearance of consuming for other people or to help other people, but as long as that people is on your introverted decider, if you value these people or you think this people is important, you are going to share that known information with them regardless of. So that distinction is very important to be made because when I first started uh, in OP, I thought that consume would be only restricted in a way to the types that only consume things for themselves, you know? For example, buying things for myself would be a very clear and basic example of consume. But also buying something for someone that I love is also a consume example because I'm consuming for this person that is deep into my introverted decider, whether that's FI or TI. So, in a way, you are still consuming for yourself. But if you were about to do something for someone that you don't really value, that's when maybe the line would drop between, for example, consume and blast. And of course, blast is sharing no information with the tribe. And consume, since consume is very also an introverted animal, is something that is very difficult sometimes to spot right away in yourself because it's so deeply ingrained for being introverted. It's almost also undetectable in a way because it happens in such an unconscious way that people who had it first are unable to see that they're actually doing that very same thing. So I was trying to see how that plays out in my life lately, of course, with the help of some triangulation and other people helping to spot my those patterns that I don't quite see. And I'm coming to a realization that maybe consume for me might not be a demon. It may be maybe in the second or probably even in the third stack for me, I guess. And the way that that plays out is that yes, I am all about helping the tribe, or at least the tribe that I personally value. But in order to help that the tribe, I need to first see the thing for myself. I need to first consume the thing for myself in order to process it accurately and be able to just then share it with the tribe. But on the same breath, I want to say that the way that I learn is not necessarily by consume alone. Now, I know that learning involves the use of all the animals. There are these actions that we do that involve the use of all the animals, regardless of. However, the order in which those animals play out in your life is key to see exactly the pattern and the order of the human needs being aligned with the animals that you use throughout the day and throughout your life. So in my case, I don't understand something fully until I do it. And let's say that I want to learn how to program, for example. Yes, I can read. I can read all the literature that you want me to read for sure. However, I need to practice. I need to do the thing. And until I don't do the thing, I am not really getting it. I'm only theorizing in my brain and playing these possible simulations of how that knowledge that I'm learning throughout the things that I'm reading can apply into real life. But that's not real life, that's only a simulation. And the only way that I can really learn to do something is by doing it, it's by engaging with it, is by really experiencing it in real life. And in this case of programming, that would be the best way for me to learn, by actually programming, by doing programming exercises and see in my own experience how the things that I do affects the outcome that I produce in a way. So it's something that I've been thinking about very lately, about where those animals might be on my stack, and also where those animals are on people who are either consume savior or consume demon. Because also you have this tricky third stack that is the hobby stack. And people who have one of the animals at third place might actually be pretty good at doing them. However, those are the animals that only are done by hobby. So that's also that influences in the way that I can see my own consume in the staff. Now, I will finish this video by bringing out some examples of how I might have consumed on the first or second place and see what you guys think. So in my case, maybe the way that consume manifests is through the consumption of physical food. And I have to admit that throughout my life, I've been really struggling with binge eating in a way. I was even a chubby kid because I would not stop eating all of this calorie rich food, and I end up to I end up in a point in my life getting morbidly obese because of it. So each time that I need to do something that is particularly stressful for me, like I need to have always a bowl of something, a bowl of Cheetos, a bowl of chocolate, of Doritos, in order to calm down this anxiety. And I'm also noticing that each time that I need to blast or I need to teach something that I know to the tribe, I tend to get really hungry when I am blasting for an extended period of time. And it's like, in order to compensate for that blast, I need to consume, I need to eat something that calms me down and brings me joy and brings me comfort after doing something that is apparently draining to me. So that's when I'm right now with the consume part. And also, I'm trying to put restrictions to that consume so that doesn't affect me in a negative way. Like in the food part, I'm trying to do the best to also limit my consumption of social media, YouTube videos, in order for me to be able to blast more and be able to be more into doing rather than consuming. And something also very funny happens to me because I can go throughout these extended periods of not consuming, for example, information in the way of the internet or social media, watching movies, and I can go for a solid couple of months without not consuming anything at all and just blasting. But the moment that I stop, the moment that I don't do anything and I become stagnant because everything that has to be done has already been done, that's when I fall back into this big rabbit hole of me going again to the internet, to the social media, consuming all the things that I haven't consumed all this previous time. And I can last a solid couple of weeks in order to catch up in a way with my consume. So it's really strange how this plays out for me. And it's also really interesting to see how consume plays out in other types. And also, there's different types of consume. So you have the consume who is the combination of SC with FI. You have consume that is a combination of SC with TI. You have consume that is NE, TI, NE, FI, you know? And that type of consume is going to vary depending on what are your functions and how are you satisfying that human need of gathering, consuming, and building that identity through the things that you consume. So that's, at least to me, the definition of what consume might be, is to build your own identity and strengthen that identity with consuming all the information that you really value, the things that you really find of value, whether it's FI or the things that you think that are important, you know, uh, that is based more on your TI in the way that this is the truth, this is my truth, this is the right thing to do, this is the right thing to consume. And maybe that's like the most easy way to spot consume. Are you spending all this time building your identity and gather all this information for yourself and not spending enough time communicating all of these things that you gather with others? So maybe that's the bottom line, because also consumers can teach throughout play, especially if they're consuming play. But well, that we'll see more later when we address the play animal. But yeah, I mean, consume is really a very intriguing animal. Also, I have to mention that consume is an information animal that is introverted. So it's interesting to see how this plays out in other types. So, well, those are my scattered, unorganized, chaotic thoughts on consume. So I really am looking forward to you guys to share what are your thoughts on consume. What do you think about what I say? What I say was a bunch of bullshit or nonsense. Say that, but say it politely, of course. And I would like to see what you think. What you think, and how are you able? I leave you with this question. How are you able to spot your consume in your own lives? So, thank you very much for this. And we are going to see you on the next video. And next video, we are dedicating that to now an energy animal that is extroverted, and that is play. So be aware of the channel to see that video coming up, and I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and see you on the next one.